The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. U.S. President Donald Trump raising tariffs to 15% on the Bahamas exports to the U.S. This after a Supreme Court ruling in the U.S. A judge ruling that transfers of Family Island administrators null and void. And we are talking about the candidates and what we've seen so far in the lead up to General Election 2026. Dr. Ian Strachan will be our special guest. That's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Monday, February 23rd, 2026. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. DeAndre Cartwright is off today. Plus, we'll talk about the weather and this cold front that's moved in. What do you need to know about that? And more. That's all ahead. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, United States President Donald Trump announcing he will increase global tariffs on all goods coming into the United States to 15%, including exports from the Bahamas. On Friday, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled 6-3 that Trump had exceeded his authority when he introduced broad global tariffs in 2025 under America's International Emergency Economic Powers Act. In response, Trump signing an executive order Friday imposing a 10% global duty to replace the one struck down by the Supreme Court. A day later, he said he would raise global tariffs to 15%. Trump blasting the court's decision on Truth Social, his social media platform, calling the ruling a, quote, ridiculous, poorly written, and extraordinarily anti-American decision, saying, quote, I, as President of the United States of America, will be effective immediately, raising the 10% worldwide tariff on countries, many of which have been ripping the U.S. off for decades without retribution until I came along, to the fully allowed and legally tested 15% level. Trump added that over the next few months, his administration would determine and issue new and legally permissible tariffs. His latest tariffs were enacted under Section 122 of the U.S. 1974 Trade Act and will last for 150 days unless Congress approves an extension. The Bahamas is not a major exporter of goods to the United States. The Office of the Prime Minister did not respond to requests for comment on Trump's newest tariff threat. However, last April, after Trump's 10% universal base tariff came into effect, Prime Minister Philip Davis said the Bahamian government would cushion the impact from the economic policy. In a ruling handed down last week, Supreme Court Justice Carla Card-Stubbs found that 5 Family Island administrators were unlawfully transferred from their posts within the Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family Island Affairs to other government ministries. The claimants were Armentha Newman, Elizabeth Colley, Ernestine Fernandez, Loretta Marshall, and Carla Turnquest, and the Bahamas Public Services Union. They argued that the letters of redeployment issued in November and December 2021 that required them to immediately report for duty at various other government ministries amounted to transfers, which was unreasonable, unlawful, and unconstitutional. The Office of the Attorney General, the defendant in the matter, argued that the administrators were redeployed as part of a reorganization exercise, which it said was customary and lawful. In analyzing the case, Card Stubbs found that, among other issues, there were no other public servants who were identified as part of what the defendant argued was a broader reorganization exercise. She also found that a movement from one ministry to another could only be considered a redeployment instead of a transfer if it's triggered by a need for additional staff or staff movement or used in cases pending official transfers. Card Stubbs found that moving the administrators met neither of those requirements and therefore constituted a transfer in all but name. However, transfers must be finalized by an official process which involves appointment by the Governor General, acting on the advice of the Public Service Commission. You can read more on that in today's Nassau Guardian. Police searching for two men who robbed a restaurant on Western Road near the entrance to Lyford Key Saturday night. Police say the robbery happened shortly before 10:30 p.m. Two masked men entered the restaurant through separate entrances. The suspects reportedly demanded that patrons and employees hand over cash and personal belongings. Police say that one suspect who entered through the front door allegedly robbed several patrons of valuables, including jewelry and cellular phones. The second suspect entered through another door and became involved in a physical altercation with a male employee, during which cash was reportedly taken. Police say one of the men wore black clothing and a black mask, while the other has face covered with a red cloth. They fled the scene in a white car. Two women sexually assaulted on Saturday in separate incidents. In the first incident, shortly before 4 a.m., a man reported that his girlfriend was sexually assaulted by an unknown man at a residence off Wolf Road. However, police did not indicate if the boyfriend was home at the time of the incident. While the victim slept, the suspect entered the house through a window and woke the victim before sexually assaulting her. The suspect then exited through the front door and headed toward the nearby park. In the second incident, sometime around 9 a.m. at a business establishment in the Centerville area, a woman was picked up from an unknown male on a motorcycle. The victim was taken to a residence off Charles Saunders Highway where she was sexually assaulted. After the incident, detectives from the Central Investigation Department took a 55-year-old man into custody. And a former police corporal has been sentenced to 30 years in prison for plotting the murder of his alleged romantic rival. 49-year-old Darren Davis, facing a potential sentence in the range of 30 to 60 years when he appeared before Justice Renee McKay for the penalty phase of his murder conspiracy trial on Friday. The conspirator faces the same penalty as the person who commits the underlying offense. Before his conviction in June 2025, Davis served on the Royal Bahamas Police Force with distinction. He was described as a good father and someone who resolves conflicts peacefully. Assistant Director of Public Prosecutions Terry Archer sought a sentence of 40 years, while defense lawyer Davis Cash argued for 30 years in prison. Prosecutors convinced 6 of 9 jurors that Davis conspired with others to murder Jason Whitfield, a 43-year-old senior clerk at the passport office. Whitfield was found shot to death inside his government-assigned car outside his home in Garden Hills on December 3rd, 2022. Prosecutors relied on circumstantial evidence to prove their case. They alleged that both men were seeing Tia Hall and that Davis allegedly told her he was going to kill Whitfield. Police allegedly found photos of Whitfield, his car, and a pinned location of his address in the trash folder of Davis's phone. Davis intends to appeal the conviction. Overseas, in Mexico, school canceled in several Mexican states and local and foreign governments alike, warning citizens to stay inside as widespread violence erupted following the army's killing of a powerful leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel. That man, Nemesio Ruben Osguera Cervantes, known as El Mencho, was the boss of one of the fastest growing criminal networks in Mexico, notorious for trafficking fentanyl, meth, and cocaine into the United States and staging brazen attacks against government officials who challenged it. He was killed during a shootout in his home state of Jalisco, as the Mexican military attempted to capture him. Cartel members responded with violence across the country, blocking roads and setting fires to vehicles. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum urging calm, and authorities announcing late Sunday they had cleared most of the more than 250 cartel roadblocks across 20 states. The White House in the U.S. confirming that the Americans provided intelligence support to the operation to capture the cartel leader, and applauded Mexico's army for taking down a man who was one of the most wanted criminals in both countries. Mexico hoped the death of the world's biggest fentanyl traffickers would ease Trump's administration's pressures to do more against the cartels, but many remained hunkered down and on edge as they waited to see the powerful cartel's reaction. And the son of Zimbabwe's late former president, Robert Mugabe, appearing in a South African court today with another man to face charges of attempted murder after shooting at his home in Johannesburg last week. 29-year-old Bellarmine Chatunga Mugabe and his co-accused, Tobias Mugabe Matonhodze, who's 33, are also facing 2 additional charges of defeating the ends of justice and unlawful possession of a firearm. These are related to the firearm believed to have been used during the shooting when an employee at the Mugabe home in the Johannesburg suburb of Hyde Park was shot on Thursday last week, leading to his hospitalization. The 2 accused appeared in the magistrate's court and will appear again on March 3rd to make a formal bail application. According to the police, the firearm was used during the shooting has not been found since the 2 men were arrested last Thursday. Police identified the person who was shot as a gardener at the home and said there had been an altercation, though the motive is still unclear. Mugabe is the youngest son of Robert Mugabe and with his second wife, Grace. Robert Mugabe led Zimbabwe for 37 years before he was deposed in a coup in 2017. He died 2 years later in Singapore at the age of 95. And a packed bus on its way to Nepal's capital drove off a mountain highway early today, killing 19 people, including a British national, and leaving another 25 wounded. There were dozens of people on board the bus, which was heading from the resort city of Pokhara to Kathmandu, where it drove off a highway after midnight. The bus rolled down a mountain slope and landed on the banks of the Trishuli River, about 50 miles west of the capital.
This is Sports Update.
In sports, the battle lines have been drawn, and for the 9th time in a row, it'll be a Nassau versus Freeport confrontation for the Hugh Campbell basketball title. The St. George's Jaguars are back in the championship game for just a second time in school history, while perennial champions C.I. Gibson looking for another title. Both teams surviving their final 4 games yesterday as the semifinals of the 42nd Hugh Campbell Basketball Classic took place at A.F. Adderley Gym. The Jaguars shot past the upstart Queens College Comets 71-45, ending their Cinderella run. The Comets had a strong tournament, making it as far as they've ever been, but they just couldn't get over the bump against a fundamentally sound Jaguars team. In the other semifinal game, C.I. Gibson taking care of the government schools counterparts, Anatole Rogers, 57-49. So the championship game is set for tonight, 8:30 p.m. at the Kendall Isaacs Gym. Famous junior and senior track and field athletes turning in strong performances at various athletics meets over the weekend and overseas. Olympian Devon Charlton has been making slight improvements to her times in recent weeks, and she vies to lead the 2026 World Athletics Indoor Championships as a three-time gold medalist in the women's 60 meters hurdles. Charlton winning a season's best time and meet record of 7.77 seconds in the Orlen Copernicus Cup staged in Poland over the weekend. The former meet record was held by the host country. Charlton advancing out of Heat 2 with a second fastest time, 7.87 seconds. And the two-time world indoor gold medalist and world indoor record holder lowered her time again to 7.77 seconds. And from the Winter Olympics, the United States is on top of the hockey world for the first time in nearly a half century. Jack Hughes scored less than 2 minutes into overtime. The U.S. beat Canada 2-1 in the gold medal final, earning the nation's third men's title at the Games and first since the Miracle on Ice in 1980, 46 years to the day of the upset over the mighty Soviet Union. Unlike that group of college kids that pulled off one of the biggest shockers in sports history, the Americans were a machine that rode goaltender Connor Helbachuk's at a roster full of NHL players through the tournament unbeaten. But they were still underdogs against the stacked Canadians, but able to come out on top. And the Milan-Cortina Olympics ended Sunday as the Twin Flames in co-host cities Milan and Cortina were extinguished during a closing ceremony. In declaring the 2026 Games over, International Olympic Committee President Kirsty Coventry telling local organizers that they delivered a new kind of Winter Games. The next Games will be held in neighboring France, which received the Olympic flag in the official handover earlier in the ceremony. A total of 116 medal events were held in 8 Olympic sports across 16 disciplines, including the debut of ski mountaineering over the course of 17 days of competition. Host Italy won its highest Winter Olympic tally ever with 30 medals, 10 gold, 6 silver, and 14 bronze, crushing the previous record of 20 set at Lillehammer in 1994. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather brought to you by Star General Insurance Made Simple. We've got a near gale warning in effect for most of the country, the northern, northwest, and central Bahamas, while a near gale watch will come into effect for the southeastern Bahamas by this evening. We've got a cold front that's moved through. It's now just south of New Providence. It will continue to race southeastwards, producing bouts of showers and thunderstorms near the frontal boundary. Meanwhile, strong to near gale force winds will continue behind that front, ushering in cooler temperatures courtesy of building high pressure. There is a moderate to high risk currents today along Atlantic exposed shorelines due to persistent moderate northeasterly swells. Beachgoers and swimmers are urged to exercise caution. For today, your forecast for the extreme northern islands, including Grand Bahama and Abaco, look for mostly sunny conditions, becoming fair tonight, less than a 10% chance of showers. Winds northwesterly at 20 to 25 knots with gusts to near gale force. For the rest of the northwest and central Bahamas, we're looking at partly cloudy to cloudy conditions today, becoming mostly fair tonight. Only about a 10% chance of showers for the northwest Bahamas, decreasing to less than 10% by this afternoon. For the central islands, though, 20 to 30% chance of showers as that front approaches. That'll decrease to about 10% chance once the front moves through. Winds northerly to north at 20 to 25 knots with gusts to near gale force. And for the central or the southeast Bahamas today, a mix of sun and clouds, becoming partly cloudy by this evening. A 20 to 30% chance of showers with possible thunderstorms as the front approaches. And winds northwest to north at 10 to 50 knots, becoming more northerly at 15 to 25 knots with gusts to near gale force by this evening with the approach of the front. So temperatures, for those of us behind that front, look for high temperatures, well, especially for the northern islands, in the mid-60s today, around 19 Celsius. Overnight lows for the extreme northern islands in the upper 50s, low 60s tonight, between 14 and 16 Celsius. For the rest of us, the central and southeast Bahamas, we're looking at, the northwest and central Bahamas, including New Providence, we're looking at highs in the upper 60s, low 70s today. Closer to the mid-70s for the central islands. Overnight lows tonight for the northwest Bahamas in the low 60s. Around 18 Celsius. And the low 70s for the central islands, around 21 Celsius today. A bit warmer for the southeast Bahamas, still looking at highs around 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to the low to mid 70s, around 22, 23 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have a closer look at what to expect over the next couple days coming up in just a bit. This weather check also brought to you by Karna at SLS Bahamar. This is more than dinner, it's a culinary event. February 24th at 7 p.m., Karna welcomes Dario Cecchini on island and in person for an indulgent $300 tasting menu showcasing West Home's nature-led Australian Wagyu. One night only. Space is limited. Reserve now.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
You are listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing today's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
City of Miami Gardens presents JITG Music Fest. Ludacris, Ashanti, Nelly, Glorilla, LMA, Maya, Show, D Nice and Friends, featuring WV, Donnell Jones, Case, Sunshine Anderson, and Kenny Burns, Isley Brothers, El DeBarge, Stephanie Mills, and so many more. March 7th and 8th, Hard Rock Stadium. Tickets and info at jazzinthegardens.com. Jazzinthegardens.com.
Southwest Plaza has so many stores, I've been trying to find a sensible way to list them all. There's CBS Bahamas, the Ashai Institute, BENC Snack World, Bamboo Shack Bahamas, Air, the Athlete's Foot, and BTC, Games and more, John Bull, Pine Threads, Alive, Bahari, Dairy Queen, 700 Wines and Spirits, Sandy's, Clarkson, Island Lock, Starbucks, and Lowe's Pharmacy, plus Marco's Pizza and Lorraine. Southwest Plaza, what a wide array of stores. Southwest Plaza, stop by today and explore.
For over half a century, Hongxi has been reserved only for heads of state and world leaders. It wasn't just a car, it was a privilege. Easy Car Sales is proud to bring that distinguished heritage to the Bahamas. A new era in luxury electric, rooted in absolute prestige. It's for the few who demand freedom from the gas pump and first-class craftsmanship. Visit Easy Car Sales to see if you're ready for a taste of royalty.
Looking to elevate your gadget game or a tech trouble simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
Screening for colorectal cancer should begin at the age of 45. Reduce your risk for colon cancer and schedule your colonoscopy today at reduced prices for the months of March and April at the office of Dr. Harold Mullings, located next to Princess Margaret Hospital. Call us today at 328-5550 or WhatsApp 816-1417.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
You try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it, just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC, you're at the heart of all we do. We're on your side, we're listening, we know the way you feel. CIBC, ambitions made real.
No one likes a fender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. Also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Deandra is off today. She'll be back with us next week. But today, we've got a lot to talk about in the news. But also later, we are going to be taking a closer look at what we're seeing so far in the lead up to General Election 2026 and what we're seeing with the candidates. Dr. Ian Strong is going to be here breaking it down and giving us his views on some of this stuff. We're going to have an interesting discussion with him this morning. That's all I had. But right now, let's get into what else is in the news. And just a reminder, folks, 242 Day is here tomorrow. 242 Day, the 24th day of the second month of the year. That's every February 24th. Show your Bahamian pride. Do something uniquely Bahamian. Come to work in your Bahamian colors. Just have a blast tomorrow. We hope, as we've seen in the past, that stores, companies will be doing things, specials. Maybe $2.42 off or $242 off, something. 24% off, maybe. I don't know. But something fun for tomorrow. Keep that in mind. For tomorrow, 242 Day. All right, in the news, the big headline in the National Guardian, 15% tariffs on Bahamas exports to U.S. U.S. President Donald Trump announcing that he will increase global tariffs on all goods coming into America to 15%, including exports from the Bahamas. Our Tanika Thompson writing about it today. So on Friday, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled 6-3 that Trump had exceeded his authority when he introduced broad global tariffs in 2025 under America's International Emergency Economic Powers Act. In response, Trump signed an executive order on Friday imposing a 10% global duty to replace the ones struck down by the Supreme Court. A day later, he said he would raise global tariffs to 15%. Trump blasted the court's decision on Truth Social, his social media platform, calling the ruling a, quote, ridiculous, poorly written, and extraordinarily anti-American decision. He said, quote, I, as President of the United States of America, will be effective immediately, raising the 10% worldwide tariff on countries, many of which have been ripping the U.S. off for decades without retribution until I came along, to the fully allowed and legally tested 15%. He said that over the next few months, his administration would determine and issue new and legally permissible tariffs. The latest tariffs were enacted under Section 122 of the U.S. 1974 Trade Act and will last for 150 days unless Congress approves an extension. So even though the Bahamas is not a major exporter of goods to the United States, this will impact some of those who are doing this, especially in the fishing industry. The Office of the Prime Minister did not respond to requests for comments on Trump's newest tariff threat. However, last April, after Trump's 10% universal-based tariff came into effect, Prime Minister Davis said the Bahamian government would cushion the impact from the economic policy. At the time, in April 2025, Prime Minister Davis said, quote, I've been talking to leaders of other countries, reaching out to executives in our business community, and consulting with economists and trade experts to assess the likely impact and the plan for multiple scenarios. If the 10% tariff on Bahamian goods imported into the United States remains, Bahamian exporters in multiple industries will soon feel the impact. Again, this is what he said last year. We have been in contact with U.S. officials regarding the change in policy, and we are working with fellow Caribbean countries on collective diplomatic efforts. At the time, Prime Minister Davis said that his administration was also speaking with Bahamian exporters and working to understand whether there were short-term policies that could be enacted to cushion the fallout. Now, the Bahamas National Statistical Institute reported that exports to the United States in the third quarter of 2025 totaled $110,903,562 compared to $84,253,103 in the third quarter the year before. Total exports to all countries for third quarter 2025 totaled $128 million, resulting in an increase of 19% when compared to the same period the previous year. So that's interesting. And the categories that contributed the largest proportion to the exports were machinery and transport equipment, which was about $27 million. Manufactured goods, classified chiefly by materials, at $22 million. And food and live animals at $20 million, which combined represented 54% of total exports. Now, groups that decreased in value when compared to the same period last year or the year before were manufactured goods like materials, mineral fuels, lubricants, and related materials, chemicals, which declined by 54% and 48%, respectively. All right, so we will see how this goes. Hopefully we'll get some more reaction over the next few days to this, but this is what we can likely expect a lot more of over the next 3 years. Let's get your reaction to it if you wish. You can give us a call, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, or call us toll-free, 242-300-5720. You can tweet us, you can Facebook us, you can text us, 422-4796. We got some text messages coming in. This person says here, hey, Dwight, Trump's tariffs are not the problem in the Bahamas. Okay, yeah, no one said that they were. Not one person said that. The issue is for Bahamians trying to export to the U.S., right? Okay. Why are custom duties so high in the Bahamas? Like tools at 45%, kitchen cabinets 45%, cars 65%, guns 100%. Well, they should be 10,000. Anyway, Trump's 15% supposed to be the big issue. You are completely missing the point here. Completely, this is not about our costs. No, it's about the people here who want to make money abroad exporting. This could potentially impact them. That's the point. We've got some other issues here. We don't have income tax, and the government has historically relied on duties, and now VAT. So we do need to have that discussion, absolutely. Some of the duties don't make sense because we don't manufacture the things. So if we could make a point that if we manufactured the cars, then like he's doing in the U.S., you could put a duty on a tariff on cars from competing countries. But no, that's not it. Like car parts never made any sense to me. It's very high for some, and you can't make the part. They don't make it. You can't buy an alternative here. So that some things need to be decided on and regulated and determined whether that'll be the way forward. But you're looking at this in the not quite the right way. But we do have to have a discussion about duties. Every year, the budget, we get a little treat as some item is decided. They've decided that they'll reduce the duty on them as a little carrot. But yeah, much more needs to be done in order to bring down the cost of living here. But that is a major revenue earner for the government. So we're in a tricky place. This texter says here, I know this is not the topic, but can you please get someone to talk about how people should drive with their lights on? I mean, you could just do it. I'm just going to read this, and I agree with you. Especially people, I guess, who aren't used to driving early in the morning. I don't know what their problem is, but they certainly don't, and they're driving very dark cars, often black and dark gray, and no one can see them. But anyway, people have their bright lights on. Well, that's another story. When there's adequate lighting on the streets. This leads to accidents, and the oncoming driver can't see. Please, let's not talk about the pedestrian crossings. It's a big problem. Incorrect usage of vehicle lighting or non-usage. Yes, indeed. I've said this before, but we need to put this in a commercial probably, a PSA. Good rule of thumb. If you cannot see the sun in the sky, you need to turn on your headlights. So you're up at 6 o'clock and you think it's morning, it's daytime, I don't need my headlights on. If you don't see the sun, people can't see you. You might be able to see, but people can't see you. And so it's very important. Very important. And most of you need to keep your car in your automatic. Setting the cars is smarter than you are. And we'll know when to turn on the lights. But it's a big problem. Very, very big problem. I don't know if some of these people are trying to be in stealth mode, but they're putting all of us in danger. They really are. All right, so continue to call in, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll-free, 242-300-5720. All right, so there's something in the paper on Friday. There's something there that we did mention in the news segment of the show, but I wanted to get deeper into this because this story is freaking me out. That's the best way I can put it. So, man gets 2 years for violating bail conditions. Again, this was in Friday's paper, Friday's Nassau Guardian. Our Artesia Davis writing about this. So a 32-year-old man was on Thursday sentenced to 2 years in prison for breaching the terms of his bail. Right? Jovan Pierre was on bail for 6 counts of armed robbery. Right? Got all this? He was already on bail for 6 counts of armed robbery, 4 counts of receiving, 1 count of indecent assault, and he was required to sign in at the Carmichael Road Police Station Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. I mean, he might as well just stayed there, right? Yep, you following so far? Already got bail for all that. But Pierre failed to comply, and he skipped 101 sign-in days between August 2025 and February 2026. 101. Not Dalmatians. Sign-in days. 101. Pierre, who didn't have a lawyer, admitted to the offense at his arraignment before Magistrate Abigail Farrington. Pierre claimed that he was unable to sign in because he didn't have an ID, because his passport was being held as an exhibit. He later claimed that he had a laminated copy of the passport, which he could have used. Following? Yeah. Pierre asked the court for leniency because he didn't waste the court's time. He also assured the magistrate that it wouldn't happen again. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you very much. However, Magistrate Farrington noted that Pierre had violated his bail terms before and had been sentenced to probation. As a result, he was sent to prison. Okay, so there's worse coming, but just let's process what we've heard so far. He had already done this. Violated bail, was sentenced to probation, and I guess still allowed to be on bail, and then skipped the 101 sign-in days, and then the talk about this passport thing. But here's as they say in the infomercials. But wait, there's more. It gets even worse. This last paragraph is like the mic, the bomb, the everything drops here. An immigration officer told the court that Pierre didn't have any legal status in the Bahamas, and so Farrington recommended his deportation. What is going on here? So what passport was he talking about? Was it a Bahamian passport? Why wasn't he deported Please make it make sense. Please make it make sense. Somebody, why would you give him bail if he's not legally? What are we doing? What are we doing in this country? Please, caller, can you make this make sense? Good morning. You're live on the air.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Strachan.
Hi.
Yes, sir, Mr. Strachan. I think this is normal.
Huh?
I think this is normal, man. It may sound bad, but the thing is, we have over 100 and something persons on bail for murder, right? I don't know if you heard months ago, people in the Caribbean were saying that, the Bahamas court system, we always give people bail despite what they've done, you know what I mean? So I think it's a systemic problem that needs to be addressed. You understand what I'm saying? I know for sure a few people on bail for murder. I know of them. You know what I mean? I know persons have committed murder, and they were on bail in 2 months. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm.
So we have to find a way to tie this up, man. I think it's normal. I mean, I don't live in the hood, but.
So we know about this. I mean, we've had lawyers on to explain to us. The Minister of National Security explained to us this is a constitutional right to bail. But there's something else here, though, right? Not only have you violated your bail terms before, but you are allowed to skip 101 sign-in days between August 2025 and February 2026 before someone says, hey, what's going on with this guy, right? But also, you shouldn't be in this country. So from the first time, I didn't even know how you got bail when you're not allowed. Because, I mean, what is the definition of flight risk? You don't live here.
You remember you had something on your show, I think last year, something similar where a guy escaped bail and they gave him like 6 months. The first thing the judge should have said was, look here, your bail has been revoked. Right now, he gets 2 years in jail. Right now, let's see what happens after his 2 years is spent in jail. You know, I mean, you can say I don't want to castigate the court system and say there's corruption, but you can make your own conclusion.
Well,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
You can make your own conclusions. But there's too many people in this country on bail for murder. You understand me? And multiple murders. Not one, multiple murders.
It's very disturbing, indeed.
So I don't know if our members of parliament who create the laws can tighten the laws up a bit. But Mr. Strachan, we live in a dangerous society. I mean, I'm telling you, a lot of people out here are very dangerous people. And trust me, you get in the wrong place at the wrong time, you could be next.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You could be next. Thank you,
well, let's hope not for any. Okay, sure. Thank you very much. I just don't understand when this comes up. Right, instead of having a bail hearing or bail case, whatever it is, just go straight to the matter, right? Like, yeah, you did this. Okay, you're guilty. You're going to jail, and then we will deport you. No time for you get 2 years with bail, and then you have to come back to court for that. Who's wasting the court's time? The court. That's what it sounds like. Caller, what say you? Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi.
I gather that your concern is why he getting bail since he's not a being
Everything. How do you skip 101 sign-in days? How can you skip more than 5?
Well, that is also ridiculous. But because I know of cases, especially American tourists, when they commit crime, they get bail and then they even come back to the court or something like that. But correctly so, his matter should be an extradition situation, deportation, serve your time or whatever, if you have the time to serve, and then out, since you don't have any legal status to be in here.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, it's so the system seems to be so much cumbersome, so much overloaded that sometimes the simple things to see finally get missed and slipped in the cracks.
Yeah, definitely. And unnecessarily so. Like all these different bail hearings is just get to the case. Let's do this. Is there evidence? Did he do it? Yeah, convict him. Let's move along. Caller, what say you? Thanks a lot for the call. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air. Hi, good morning. You're live on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning. Hello?
Hi, yeah, we can hear you.
Hey, Dwight, yeah. I really ain't surprised with nothing with this be going on every Monday morning, Dwight, because we have a whole parliamentary department can't identify people who shouldn't be even in this country. So I don't see how the courts can be able to do that, right? There's a lot of people walking around in this country should not be in this country, but the country is allowing them to be in the country, right? So it's more of this to come, and there's so much more of it's happening, but the immigration department really don't have no teeth in nothing in this country because, if somebody commits a crime in this country, our Constitution, even if you was a person who was naturalized, the Constitution have something to deal with that. But we don't follow the Constitution. We just follow emotions in this country, right? And this is what, and nobody knows that better than the foreigners who come to this country. The Bahamians are the most saved people in the world, right? And that's what the people them looked, and that's what foreigners has come and deal with us because we closer to God than any nation in our minds.
You said the most what? Saved? Yeah.
Yeah, everybody saved.
Wow.
Right, and but at the end of the day, we have to get serious with this country because immigration anywhere in the world is there to protect the sovereignty of that nation, but it appears that immigration in the Bahamas is to cater to anybody who wants to come in the Bahamas with a fee. Have a nice day, Dwight.
Okay, interesting. Thank you very much. Another call, and we'll get back to your text messages. Good morning, caller. You're live on the air.
Good morning, and thank you, Dwight.
Hi.
Is it possible that the magistrate was kind of hoping that the guy just skip town and never show up so she don't have to deal with it?
I wouldn't want to go there.
Could I go
But
somewhere else?
okay.
Are we looking here now at a cash or revenue generating income? Because normally someone has to pay the bill, and if you skip the bill, the money goes to the Treasury. Are we looking at a banking system here then?
Well, I mean, we do have cash bill, but most time it's somebody's serving as a surety, suretor. But that person's supposed to be held accountable. Did that happen in any of these situations here? I've seen a few matters reported where those people were held liable, but did it happen here? He didn't have a lawyer, and he doesn't have a passport. So I don't know. I don't know.
He ain't got no money. He probably ain't got no money. So who?
There are lots of questions about this case and how this has been allowed to drag on for so long. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, Dwight.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Boy. Your text messages, let's get to these. This person says here, Nassau's a pimp's paradise. What now? Okay. Morning, Dwight. That's all. Okay, thank you. Good morning to you, too. This person says here, 3 years ago, I asked you all to call me when we as a country or people get serious. I'm starting to believe I will never get that call. Joking, but not joking. Okay. Well, I think we're serious about certain things, but not the things we need to be serious about. This texture says here, our court system is a mess. The solution to bail is fast-tracking serious crime cases. But as long as lawyers who run the country make money from the system the way it is, nothing will change. From the guy who was arrested and has no legal status, he should have been turned over to immigration, but I guess they'll wait for the conclusion of the case. Why even waste the taxpayers' money by jailing him? He should be deported immediately. Well, yeah, maybe. These are some serious... 6 counts of armed robbery. That's pretty serious. 4 counts of receiving and 1 count of indecent assault. I mean, I guess there needs to be justice, too. But he should never have gotten bail. Never. Never. Especially, I mean, where was immigration before this? Did they not know this? When he was required to sign in? What's he signing in with? With all of these things, nothing makes sense here. They just figured it out that he's not even got any status. All right. Wow. Head in the sand syndrome. For years, people have been sounding the alarm about irregularities in immigration. The response processes in place were, quote, you're xenophobic. You don't have any evidence. Then a director of immigration spoke up and was essentially fired. But in a back room, nothing to do. Put in a back room with nothing to do. Meanwhile, we don't know who instructed. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think you can assume that he did that himself. Text. I'm not going to read the rest of your text, but right, did that all on his own. Why and how? What motivated him? That's an interesting question, but I don't think it was anybody who instructed anybody there. But I hear you. All of those things you mentioned, though, can be true. There is definitely xenophobia, without a doubt. And some people are going by hearsay, without a doubt. So that complicates the issue. Things have been happening, yes. But a lot of the times when people are complaining, it is just because they don't like these people, right? Whereas there are quite a few people from these places who are fine individuals and contributing members to our society and are legally here and are citizens now, right? So you can't lump everybody into the same basket. And that's been the problem. That's been the problem. This texture says here, I don't understand your text. Okay. We don't have proper statistics of we don't have proper stats on who's in the country. The dark tints under this administration. What now? We have so many undocumented people being ushered through this town under tints. What? The immigration department, nurses, and some government industries have been helpful to a government who's, okay, you're losing me, and I don't know what's happening. The tints, wow. How can he not have a passport and still have a laminated one? Confusing. I'm telling you, nothing makes sense. Nothing. This texter says, I cry over my Bahamas. The whole system is deteriorating every day. No one seems to care. I don't know if it's no one. I don't think it's no one, but it continues, which is scary. You ain't seen nothing yet, though. The general election is coming, but Bahamians won't be the deciding factor. See, that's a crazy thing to say. But they go on to say, God help the 242. Who was the judge who initially granted the bail? Trump told you all from Dorian what's up with our leadership in this nation, and now it's worse. Who? What? Okay. I think the caller is correct. I believe people in seats of power over both administrations have made a business out of supplying illegal ID documents. The revelations in the Epstein files may be the start of the trail. Will the police commissioner follow the breadcrumbs, or will the big bad wolf camouflaged in Grammy's Italian suit get fatter and fatter? Hey, Dwight, Brent Simmons says it's inhumane to deport violent criminals while America is doing the complete opposite. Well, I guess we're lucky he's not in the cabinet anymore. This person says, it seems to me from this situation that we are not serious about law and order. Your report said that this criminal's passport was confiscated. If this was a Bahamian passport, but now it's determined that he has no status, then there should be more charges brought and an investigation into how he procured the passport. I don't think he does have I don't know what's going on. I do not know. In his passport, if his passport was not a Bahamian passport, then his status should have been determined long before bail. Absolutely. That's what we're saying here. Something is not adding up. And it's been, in this case, and this is what people are saying, there are many others like this, obviously there's a lot of foolishness going on. And it doesn't make any sense that we could be at this point, especially in a matter like that one. It should have been stopped a long time ago. Caller, good morning. You're live.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
It's a very interesting issue that has presented itself. The first thing that basically popped out at me is saying that the individual has indicated that he is the only person involved in the process of him having a fraudulent document.
We don't know if that's what it is.
Well, let's put it like this: we've heard stories upon stories about these documents floating out there, and we have not heard any outcome in terms of where they have obtained, if the document used is the authentic or close to the authentic paperwork that we use for making our passports and other legal documents. Who is supplying them with the paper or the printing that we do? How long has this been going on? If this one person has this allegation of having this document that is not a true and authentic property of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, then where did he obtain the paraphernalia? This is the main thing that we keep on asking these questions. But, it's so sad that, even under investigations, there's no utterance of, we tracked down the source of where they got this stuff from, and we shut it down, or we tried to find out how they came in possession of the document or the papers used that we use in the Bahamas for our legal documents.
Okay, but let's not
speculate
speculate that much. It might not have been a Bahamian passport. I don't know. It doesn't say. But here's the point: if it isn't a Bahamian passport, he should not have gotten bail.
I agree.
Right.
I agree.
If you're not here legally, you can't get bail.
You should be held face and then sent packing on your merry way.
Right. Or just be in jail.
There seems to be no fear in a lot of these persons at all. And sadly to say, Dwight, we are tipping on eggshells, in particular when it comes down to the immigration crisis. But, the realization is the majority of persons thus far happen to be our neighbors from the south. And this is where everybody seems to focus. We're not talking about the Colombians. We're not talking about the Americans, the Canadians, the Jamaicans, and we could go on and on and on and on. But this demographic grouping happens to be the focal point because it is more them here that apparently, and it's sad to say it this way, but then this is the sad reality. It is more of them here who have basically committed the treasonous act, if I could put it like that, in coming into our country. They know it's our law. You have to come the right way. But between the Bahamian people who facilitate them, and we also got to throw them in the mix too, we got to expose them, we got to put them before the court and give them the harshest penalty because they know better. But we keep on blaming the migrant, unfortunately, but there's many Bahamians involved in this nefarious activity that is crawling the blood of many Bahamians.
Okay.
And so in order to get to the bottom of this thing now, we got to ask the real harsh questions. Donald Trump is doing something that our prime minister and prime ministers before him should have been doing, and that is cracking down, putting a seal down, putting a quota down that only X amount comes into this country. We know who they are. We know their true origins. We know why they're here. And when you finish, then you go back. We don't seem to be doing that anymore. So when are we going to get to the bottom of this thing? When are we going to fix the Bahamas for we, the Bahamian people, to survive in this country? And I'll close on that note, okay? Thanks for taking my call.
Thanks a lot. All right, this texter says here, being without legal status in the Bahamas is not the same as being illegally in the Bahamas. Okay. He was more than likely born in the Bahamas to foreign parents. Bahamian his entire life, or in the Bahamas his entire life, no status, not illegal. Judge mistake more than likely. Well, that's an immigration officer who said that, though. But again, if he were 21, 22, we could make the case that he hasn't gotten himself sorted out as yet. He's 32. So I'm not sure about that. And again, when he first appeared in court and he was granted bail, which we're told he violated before, all of this stuff should have been sorted out and cleared up. Something is not right. Something's not right. And too many people allowed this to slip through the cracks. This is a very dangerous situation. This person says here, something to consider. What if his work permit just expired? Nah. If you did all those crimes on a work permit, there's no way that you could get bail and be the way that you shouldn't. It probably happens, but it just doesn't make any sense. Can you imagine? I don't know. I can't imagine that happening, and that means something is very wrong with us. Like, you did all this on your work permit? Okay. You get bail, go back to work, and stop being troublesome, and come back to court in a few years? Wow. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, I want to address the text message the text you had earlier about Trump's duties, right? And how we have all these duties. How can we cry about the duties that Trump is doing, but we, in the course of living aside the bounds because of our duties. We don't produce anything. Not even a shovel to do the cleaning. We say we need to clean our yards, and we don't produce anything. Not a pain, but nothing. You get the Chinese. They are producing. They building spaceships and space labs. What are we doing? Seems like the only thing we want to do is make up beds and counter the colonialists, our masters' money. And facilitate them owning our our utilities. What we do is we don't want to invest in education, right? We don't want to invest in healthcare. The only thing we do is talk about who's going to win the election and say when we call ourselves an independent nation, then we say, everybody's interdependent. But what are we doing? What are we doing? Who are we then? And then what we do too? We right now we're talking about bail, and then immigration comes into it. Come on, How do we as a small nation, we say, oh, we too small, we can't do nothing. We don't want to unite with our Caribbean nations in no way. You understand me? We don't want to when time for when the Cubans and a few islands protested against the United States. When this guy Manley protested in Jamaica as a leader, we didn't do it.
Okay, we've got to go to the news. Interesting points there. Got a lot more to talk about when we get back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for your smart device. Your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us 422-4796 standard text rate supply. And now at 8:17, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams. If you're ready to refresh your space, head to your local Sherwin-Williams for premium paint, pro tips, and everyday deals that make it easy to get started. So we've got a near gale warning in effect for most of the country today, the northern, northwest, and central Bahamas. And a near gale watch will come into effect for the southeast Bahamas by this evening. This is all as a result of a cold front that is moving through. It is now south of New Providence, producing bouts of showers and thunderstorms near the frontal boundary. Behind the front, we've got strong to near gale force winds that will continue, and that's going to usher in cooler temperatures, courtesy of building high pressure. So as the frontal boundary moves out of the Bahamas by tonight, high pressure ridging will quickly build and persist through the middle of the week. That's going to maintain hazardous marine conditions. By Thursday, level troughing near the southeast Bahamas, along with an eastward migrating ridge, will allow for some low-level moisture and enhance shower activity for the southeastern islands. By Friday into the weekend, a mid-level trough in the Gulf of Mexico will spark some unsettled weather for the northern parts of the northwest Bahamas, the northern and northwest Bahamas. So that's what we can look forward to. In the meantime, though, for today, we've got a moderate to high risk of rip currents along Atlantic exposed shorelines due to persistent moderate northeasterly swells, and beachgoers and swimmers should exercise caution. So for today, your forecast, partly sunny, turning mainly fair tonight for the extreme northern islands. For the rest of the northwest Bahamas and the central Bahamas, partly cloudy today, becoming mostly fair tonight. Elevated rain chances for the central and southeast Bahamas as the front moves through. Decreasing chances for rain front, especially for the central Bahamas, but the front will hit the southeast Bahamas later this evening. And so for you all in the southeast Bahamas, a mix of sun and clouds. Evening. Temperatures behind the front, we're already seeing that. In the northern Bahamas, high temperatures will struggle to get out of the 60s, with lows tonight in the mid-50s, mid to upper 50s. For the rest of the northwest Bahamas, look for highs around only about 70, 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight in the low 60s, around 16, 17 Celsius. For the central Bahamas, highs near 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight in the low 70s, around 70, 71 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. Warm spot, the southeast Bahamas, as their front is yet to reach that area. Look for highs around 82 Fahrenheit, 28 Celsius. But overnight lows tonight in the low 70s, around 21, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook for tomorrow, Tuesday, partly sunny across the northern half of the country, variably cloudy elsewhere. Still relatively low rain chances. High temperatures in the upper 60s, low 70s for some areas. The coolest night of this whole period, especially for the northern Bahamas, Tuesday night, low temperatures in the low to mid 50s, low 60s elsewhere. By Wednesday, warming up a bit, highs around 78, 79 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius, overnight lows getting down still to the upper 50s, low 60s for some areas. And back to warmer weather by Thursday. That's your morning blend weather check. Also brought to you by 242 Day tomorrow, February 24th. This and every 24th day of February, the 24th day of the second month. Show your Bahamian pride. Fly your Bahamian flags, wear Bahamian flag colors, eat Bahamian foods, do something uniquely Bahamian. 242 Day tomorrow. And 8:21, time for Check of Traffic, brought to you by Easy Car Sales, inviting artists to design a full wrap for their new Hongxi all-electric SUV. Create your mobile masterpiece and enter the electric canvas competition to win $5,000. Visit easy242.com to find out more. And a reminder that there's still some work going on parts of New Providence. You might want to keep that in mind, especially what was supposed to have wrapped up last week, but there was milling and paving work on Cedar Way from Carmichael to Golden Gates Straight Court. So if that's still going on, keep that in mind and follow the posted traffic signs or avoid the area entirely. In your real-time traffic, right now, we are still seeing midterm, so things aren't as bad as they normally are. And so if you're on Milo Butler Highway, really not much to talk about there until you get closer to the roundabout with Tawny Williams Darling Highway, but traffic is backed up a bit along Tawny Williams Darling Highway, westbound to that roundabout, and west of that roundabout. You'll be seeing some slow-moving traffic heading into Harold Road. Then we've got, again, not much to talk about near Lake Cunningham, Gladstone Road, looking manageable at this hour. Slow-moving traffic on the John F. Kennedy Drive side, though, especially near Theodore Lane. And Saunders Beach, some slow-moving eastbound traffic near New Providence Highway on West Bay Street. And east of Arawak Key, you'll see that slow-moving traffic near Nassau Street. Blue Hill Road also got some slow-moving northbound traffic as you approach Independence Drive. Independence Drive is back to both, eastbound all the way to East Street. And Robinson Road seeing some slow-moving traffic from Soldier to Old Trail. Manageable for you on Eastern Road at this hour. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert. Also brought to you by NUA Insurance Agents and Brokers. You're a partner for smart motor insurance and advice that puts you first, whether you're at home or on the go. Getting an instant motor quote is easy. Give them a call or visit your nearest branch or log in anytime at nuainsurance.com.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the know-how team at 396-1101.
Every day in a busy world, we have to do so much. Bank with CIBC and get that personal touch. Share your ambitions, let us help your dreams come true. At CIBC,
Star General, you can go gold. Comprehensive car insurance covers loss or damage from accidents, fire, theft, and third-party liability. But the Gold package gives you increased coverage for rental car and windscreen, personal accident, medical benefits, deductible waiver, and 24-hour roadside assistance where available. Our Star General Gold package also gives you up to $2,500 for accidental damage to a rental car anywhere in the Bahamas. Go gold with Star General. Insurance made simple.
Join the Ultra family! Online signups are here, and it's ultra fast. Start winning from your phone. Sign up online in minutes and jump straight into the action at ultragames.com. And right now, when you sign up in February, you're entered for a chance to win a car. That's right, a car. No long lines, no stress. Just click, sign up, and start playing. Ultra Games. Start winning ultra fast. Must be 18 or older. Ultra Games reminds you, it's only a game, so game responsibly.
Sherwin-Williams Bahamas doesn't mess about when it comes to product range and product knowledge.
If it's a new product come in the store, we walk the store and study that product.
One thing with our boss, if a new product comes in, he takes the time and he's always keeping us up to date with products. And we just had 9 weeks of different products that we had to study, and we had exams at the end of each product.
Yeah.
The only way we could sell the product effective, we have to know that product. Yeah, that helps us. To really gives us better knowledge to know what product to introduce to them. You understand? So we can know what product to give them to use and what product not to give them to use. So product knowledge is really key in Sherwin-Williams.
They got the keys. And the key is the product knowledge that comes with our extensive product range at Sherwin-Williams Paints, Bahamas. Find color in every day.
No one likes a fender bender.
Oh, man.
From a little scratch to a full mashup, NUA Insurance has got you covered with auto insurance tailored to fit your needs and budget. For affordable rates with free on-site accident assistance, visit us online or in branch and just ask us. NUA Insurance. Ask us because we've got you covered.
The following is a paid political message.
Find it here. You're looking for truth. Find it here. Vote for MacGyver. Hey. She's here for you. See everybody in Kalani. Change is here. Hey. Hands in the air. Hey, see everybody in Kalani. Vote for MacGyver. Oh. She is a fighter. Oh.
That was a paid political message. This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
Did you know I'm a Bahamian? From the Bahamas, it's the place you vacation. Slam domino, every occasion. If I did it over, I wouldn't change it. 'Cause this is what I love.
Recording in progress.
Yeah, I like record script. I like John Canoe. Oh, I like Bay Punch. Oh, I like Sky Juice. Yeah, I like Johnny K. Yeah, where my fish do. But I don't need all that burn. That don't make a soup. Yeah, I like the beach, but I don't go in water. I just go to profile with somebody daughter. I like to go diving.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with you on this Monday morning. DeAndre's off today. We should be back with us next week. Coming up, we're going to be talking about what we're seeing so far with the election campaign and the candidates and getting into that in just a bit. But we continue our discussion from before the break, although we did hear in the news, so we want to get to this in case you missed it. That was pretty interesting stuff. So the police are investigating the country's latest murder. This is a part of a robbery. Here's what the statement says from the police. So this morning, police on Harbor Island launching an investigation into a shooting that claimed the lives of two men. According to reports, shortly after midnight, police were alerted to reports of gunshots from the area of Bay Street, Harbor Island. Near a business establishment, police responded to the scene where they located an unresponsive man who had sustained gunshot injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene. Then another man who was shot was taken to the clinic. However, despite medical efforts, he too succumbed to his injuries. The initial investigation revealing that several patrons were gathered outside the business when an unidentified man, described as wearing all black, approached the area. The suspect reportedly produced a firearm and discharged multiple shots at the victims, fatally wounding them. The suspect fled the area in an unknown direction, and investigations continue. This is Harbor Island, tiny Harbor Island. All right, we'll see how long that remains a mystery on there. But, and again, if you were listening earlier, you heard something similar happened, although thankfully nobody was injured at Island Brothers near Lyford Key on the weekend. The patrons held up there as well, and the business robbed. But, interesting times indeed. All right, so before the break, we were talking about this case. We were talking about a few things, getting reaction to Trump's tariffs, but also this case. This was in Friday's paper. 32-year-old man sentenced to 2 years in prison for breaching the terms of his bail conditions, which we're told that he had breached before. Was given probation for the previous breach, but now he's been sentenced to 2 years after failing to comply with the conditions of his bail, skipping 101 sign-in days between August 2025 and February 2026. 101. Not 1, not 5, not 10. 101. 101. Yeah. And the excuses are baffling, and also we're told that an immigration told the court that this man also doesn't have to leave the country. So the magistrate has ordered that he be deported. Deported after the sentence, deported before the trial, I don't know, but okay. So we're getting reaction to all of this. Let's hear from you. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free 242-300-5720. This texter says here, why don't we trace back what schools this Pierre guy attended? There is the 32-year-old man, Jovan Pierre. There's a renegade of Haitian schools popping up all over town. The schools are popping up all over town, okay? And we need a real immigration crackdown in this country. Our immigration officers are doing an excellent job. Please allow them to serve our country. The schools are popping up all over. Okay, well, that's interesting. I believe the increased fender benders to murders are mainly contributed by people who have never grown with us and should not be here. Wow. Wow. Okay. Callers, we'll get to in a second. Person says here, don't forget who's the consultant on immigration matters. What? We need to see his recommendations and the new policies in place. His rhetoric tells us that his mission is to help his people to the detriment of the Bahamas. Who are they talking about? Oh, boy. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Dwight. Sorry I had to call back, but I just wanted to say this quickly, right? Because we just be shocked and awe in this country, but wait and listen to the report for what's transpiring inside Harbor Island, which is my corner is longer than Harbor Island. So, but just wait to hear, right? Because if you speak it out, people can say all type of things, right? But Harbor Island is having tribal war, and nobody is doing nothing about it, right?
Who are the tribes?
to Caymans and Haitian tribes.
Oh, boy.
Right. And nobody's doing nothing with it because, you see, once you land in the Bahamas, you automatically a Bahamian with the culture of the Bahamas on your back. You don't bring your culture. You leave that to the airport and you take on gin and coconut water culture, right? That's the delusion which we're living in, right? And until we understand that, yeah, it's all right to to allow people in your country, but you also have to understand that these people are traveling with their culture. And if their culture don't line up with your culture, that can be a clash. This ain't rocket science. But our leaders and the people in this country, it appears that once people come to this country, they automatically conform to the way of the Bahamas. And that is not a fact. We are people who live in their own separate, wherever they country from, in the Bahamas, and they're not assimilating with Bahamians. They don't even have no time to even speak the language with the Bahamians. Because why? They're here for themselves. They're not here for us. So we have to wake up in this country, sir, and realize that one day, God forbid, we're going to have to do some serious things in this country because we are pretending, and this ain't about no xenophobic, because every nation have a form of xenophobia when it relates to their sovereignty. But it appears that we don't need to say nothing. We just accept whatever the authorities say, and we just suffer the consequences. We have to wake up in this country, my brother. Have a nice day.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. Wow. Oh, boy. This texter says here, I'm so sick of this immigration issue, and it's sad my Bahamian people have to be... Oh, my goodness gracious. Okay. Well, we definitely have a problem. We definitely do. I can't read the rest of that text, but... something's going on. Okay. Before we take a break, I want to just touch on this topic here. This is very interesting. It's in all the papers today. Transfers of island administrators null and void. Our Rachel Scott writing about it. So in a ruling handed down last week, Supreme Court Justice Carla Card Stubbs found that 5 family island administrators were unlawfully transferred from their posts within the Ministry of Agriculture, Marine Resources, and Family Island Affairs. That's the Family Island Affairs part. To other government ministries. The claimants were Aramentha Newman, Elizabeth Colley, Ernestine Fernander, Loretta Marshall, and Carletta Turnquest, and the Bahamas Public Service Union. They argued that the letters of redeployment issued in November and December 2021 that required them to immediately report for duty at various other government ministries amounted to transfers, which was unreasonable, unlawful, and unconstitutional. The Office of the Attorney General, the defendant in the matter, argued that the administrators were redeployed as part of a reorganization exercise, which it said was customary and lawful. In analyzing the case, Card Stubbs found that, among other issues, there were no other public servants who were identified as part of what the defendant argued was a reorganization exercise. She also found that a movement from one ministry to another could only be considered a redeployment instead of a transfer if it's triggered by a need for additional staff or staff movement or used in cases pending official transfers. Card Stubbs found that moving the administrators met neither of those requirements and therefore constituted a transfer in all but name. But transfers must be finalized by an official process which involves appointment by the Governor General acting on the advice of the Public Service Commission. The ruling says, quote, the evidence indicates an ill-crafted solution to support a decision to remove the first claimants from their posts as Family Island Administrators. Regardless of how the letters addressed to the Family Island Administrators are characterized, this court concludes that the first claimants were, in effect, transferred rather than redeployed. Card Stubbs found that in the case of a transfer, the administrators should have had the option to decline the offer of a transfer, which was not given to them. The judge said, quote, I've already determined that the so-called redeployment was in essence an attempt an attempted de facto transfer might now find that it was unlawful. Transfer of a public servant is not a unilateral determination. It requires communication and consent. A transfer of a public servant is a considered process filtered through the Public Service Commission and finalized on the fiat of the Governor General. It is my view that to ignore the rules and regulations governing the public service would serve to undermine the entire prerogative, powers, and customary functions of management. The rules and regulations work to establish parameters not just for the employer, but for the employees as well. Card Stubbs ruled that the purported redeployments of the administrators are null, void, and without legal effect. She did not order that they be returned to their posts, however, due to the amount of time that has passed, saying, quote, it's unclear whether such a return is feasible or practicable or is to be addressed by way of compensation and damages. She invited the parties to make submissions in that regard. She said the parties must also make submissions on damages, which will be heard on May 14th. Let's get your reaction to that, folks. I'm reading this. I have a personal issue with this whole Family Island administrators thing. This is a very colonial type practice. It feels somebody appointed by the government to manage the island. This is, again, very backwards to me, but we're stuck in these old ways. I don't understand it. I keep saying that until we get to the point where, and it doesn't have to happen immediately, but gradually get to the point where there are elected governors for these islands, we're not going to see the types of changes that we need. But you could be picked up and moved about like you're playing chess with these things. This is really counterproductive. But let's hear from you. What do I know? 323-6232. 324-316. Yes, I'm saying abolish the whole process. Abolish it all. Family Island administrators. What is this? 325-4259. Call us toll free. 242-300-5720. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Hey, Dwight, I once worked at a place where their motto was, it only happens at the Hilton. So along with our motto here, it's better in the Bahamas, we probably need to add, it only happens in the Bahamas also. But Dwight, I also in early 2000, I knew somebody worked previously, this young Haitian guy, he was deported twice. And on the second time, cricket starts and flash, he was back. So we asked him how he got there. He said he navigated boat. So what I'm saying is that they're more smart than us and how to navigate around these waters? You know? So obviously we need to do something much better than trying to protect our waters. Because obviously we don't know who's here. That's what that was telling us. We don't know who's here. Okay, and for how long.
Okay.
And that's dangerous.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free. 242-300-5720. Boy, a lot of these text messages, just not going to be able to read them. But everything's happening according to the text messages because of the other folks. All the bad stuff. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Hi, what say you?
Good morning, my blessed Bahamas. Twice, you know something? You see, I was saying some of these things for many times. You see, when some of us, the real baby people who love this country, who parents and grandparents them, help build this country. I am a third generation Bahamian. My kids are fourth, my grandkids are fifth. Royal Bahamians, we call ourselves. I don't hate nobody. But when the powers that we don't obey the laws of the land, these are kind of things happen. I was on Shirley Street, these four wheelers, but they hit one person car and woman follow her. And the girl come off the bike want to fight. These things ain't supposed to be happening, and twos and all kinds of right one that way. We need to fix this country from the government general to break on way down. See, you can deal with anything. Right now, Dwight, next month is March. And you know what March means, right? These people shouldn't be allowed in our house. They should be paid. They shouldn't be driving our cars. The Constitution law say they're supposed to declare their assets. Commissioner of Police, Commander of the Defense Force, Senior Civil Servant, etc., etc. Dwight, this country, nothing working right in this country. Dwight, we need to fix this country. That's all I can say, Dwight.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's take another call. Good morning, call. You're on the air. Hi, good morning. Are you there? Call us back, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Of these administrators being redeployed is interesting, right? What does it say there? It was 2021, so we can assume that was right after the general election. What do you think that's all about? What do you think? Why do you think they were? Any theories on why they were moved? Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning. How you doing?
Doing well.
Yes, I'm calling about the redeployment issue you're talking about. I'm a victim of that. Okay, I was sent a letter 2 months after the Progressive Liberal Party came to office, telling me I was being redeployed, but they didn't indicate where.
Are you one of the claimants? Are you
on administrative leave? I was called. It was said administrative leave. I tried to get reinstated after that, and they had me home for 3.5 years until I retired. They never brought me back to work. Okay? As a result of that, I accumulated over 40 weeks of vacation. Because I was home all that time, still my vacations were rolling over, and this government never brought me back to work. This is a common practice of them, and it needs to stop. Okay? These ministers come to power for the first time. They don't know anybody, and they start victimizing people for no reason. Okay? I served 30-something years in the public service, and only to be sent home until I was retired. That humiliated me. That had me depressed, and I'm still having psychological issues because of what happened to me. I didn't deserve that, and it needs to stop.
Did you take legal action against them, or what did you do?
Well, I didn't take legal action as yet, but I have time, and they told me if they don't pay me for my vacation, I'm going to take legal action so I can get my vacation money and additional money for the abuse I incurred and the discrimination and victimization that they did to me.
Mm-hmm. What do you think was the reason? I mean,
the reason was because I did not support them. That's the only reason. Mm-hmm. That's the only reason. It's like you can't support who you want to support without being victimized when these administrations come to power. Okay? And what they did, they replaced me with contract workers. Contract workers came in and took my job as a director. Contract workers are not supposed to be in charge of these government agencies. And the thing is, the sad thing about it is the Department of Labor that did it. And they're supposed to know better. The Department of Labor abusing their own laws. Isn't that something? Huh?
My goodness.
Clea Glover Ryan, you're talking like she's acting like she's all that to buy the check.
Well,
every time I reach out to Clea Glover trying to get back to work, and I saw her one time, she asked me if I good. You can look at my face, you sent me home for 3.5 years until I retire. All my children, my family, all of them got upset about what happened to me, and they know I didn't deserve that. 2 months after you came to power, 2 months.
Wow. Okay, well, I hope this gets worked out. I hope you do take, we'll speak to a lawyer definitely to see what your recourse is. That is, wow. All right. Let's read these messages as we get ready to go to a break. This person says here, the previous caller is right. In Abaco, there are several new shanty towns, new cultures. We've got illegal gambling, prostitution, flea markets, grocery stores, clothing stores, restaurants, bars, a whole more, yet we are silent or classified as xenophobic when we cry out. Marsh Harbor is officially Little Haiti. We really need help. Oh boy. Okay. A lot to think about, folks. We've got to take a break. When we come back, Dr. Ian Strachan is going to be here. We're going to be talking about the candidates we've seen so far for the upcoming general election and just what we're seeing. Some interesting trends that are emerging with this process. You don't want to miss that discussion. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
I'm a Bahamian, I come from the mainland. I'm a Bahamian, I come from the mainland. I could have come from Cape Island, could have come from San Salvador, but if I could tell you more, I'm born in Nassau.
Put more money back in your pocket with the Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan. Why pay more when you can pay less? Reduce your monthly debt payments down to one low, easy payment. Apply for a Fidelity Debt Consolidation Loan today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Marco's Pizza has the perfect everyday deal. Pick up a large one-topping pizza for only $10 every single day. This has to be the best pizza deal in town. No gimmicks, just great pizza at a great price every day. Fresh, fast, and full of flavor. That's the magic of Marco's. Only at Marco's participating locations.
In today's market, merchants shouldn't have to choose between the high fees of cards or the security risk of physical cash. SandDollar provides the ultimate hybrid solution, the instant settlement of a cash transaction paired with the seamless digital convenience of a card. By integrating SandDollar into your checkout, you're choosing a local high-efficiency system that eliminates the friction of exact change and the uncertainty of bank delays. It's the sophisticated choice for a modern Bahamian entrepreneur looking to optimize their daily operations. Join the future of local commerce today. SandDollar.
At CFAL, we understand that a secure future is the greatest gift you can give your employees. That's why our tailor-made group pension solutions are designed to fit the needs of both large and small companies. With CFAL, you can provide the retirement you and your employees deserve, ensuring peace of mind and financial stability for years to come. Join the many businesses that have already entrusted CFAL to create the right pension plan for their employees, and let us help you build a brighter future for your team. Visit us at cfal.com to get started on building wealth so you can live well. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
This is Guardian 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with you on this Monday morning. This morning, we're very pleased to have a special guest with us in studio. Going to be with us for the rest of the show. Dr. Ian Strachan, good morning. Great to have you, as always.
Good morning, Mr. Strong. How are you?
that's just crazy.
That never gets old.
All right, so this is going to be interesting. We're talking about the upcoming general election. Only one man knows the time, the dates, right? But anyway, but clearly we're in election, the silly season. It's here, and we're seeing some interesting trends. We've got some interesting candidates. We're going to talk about all of that this morning. Sure. Before we get into the specific candidates, make of what you're seeing so far. How this is going. Is this different from some other campaigns we've seen in the past, or are we blazing some new trails?
That's an interesting question. I mean, I think that I was wondering about that, and I was going to say, I guess we're starting with it, that it feels like one of the sevens. So it feels like 2017 could happen. It feels 2007 could happen.
Yeah, I think the current administration hopes it's like 97. Where they could, right? Where they could win again.
Yes, that's what they're hoping. I don't know. I don't know. So you know, there's all of the natural, predictable self-congratulation that an incumbent almost has to engage in on some level to defend their record and so on. There's all of the shenanigans that have taken place.
That's a good word.
In the Free National Movement. And again, that's why I mentioned, is it going to be a repeat of 2017 in the sense that, and I wonder if people really remember just how embarrassingly divided the FNM was.
Yeah.
That
a coup.
The members of Parliament in the Free National Movement in the House went to the Governor General and was like, we don't want this man to be our leader. He still controlled the party, but I mean, if I were to have predicted, I couldn't possibly have predicted the outcome of the 2017 election 6 months before that election, based on what was going on, and so this is a tough one. Who really has real momentum? And then of course there's the newest version third party COI, right? And we obviously saw BDM and we saw DNA and we saw CDR before. This feels closer to a DNA phenomenon, but obviously far right, further right, further right, right. So yeah, I don't even. I'm talking, but I don't know if I'm actually answering. I don't know if I'm actually answering the question. It is remarkably still. It is remarkably quiet. Yes, they've both launched, but as you drive around the island of New Providence, I see very little evidence that there could be an election shortly after Easter. So it's going to be really interesting.
What would you have expected to see by this point, even though it's not been called yet? But
well, I mean, typically there's all of the visual. There's the
paraphernalia.
Yeah. There's the visual. I want to try to find the right word for it. The colonization of the eyes that takes place with all the lampposts and all the rest of it. So those are obvious signs, and of course they never take them down. You just have to hope for a good storm. But so that hasn't happened. But also I just don't. I am not a part. At least, and maybe it's just the people I'm talking to. I don't get a conversational buzz every day from people. I don't get a buzz. I don't get a sense of anticipation from people.
Yeah. And I guess,
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. I don't know that many people actually are. I don't know. You probably you on the radio every day.
So. It's just talking, but you don't see it. You don't see it, and I think they've already put down so many sidewalks in previous elections that there's not much room for new sidewalks.
But you know what? There is the one sign that I know the election is coming. Man, I drove on a very smooth road getting here.
Yeah,
and that definitely wasn't the case.
All right, so that brings up an interesting point. We are seeing a lot of this. Candidates claiming that they have caused a road to be paved or a pothole to be filled in or they fixed this basketball court. They're not incumbents. They're people who've just declared and been ratified, but they are in front of the camera on social media saying, I did this. What do you make of that? And they're doing it in constituencies that are where there's somebody who is currently an MP,
obviously,
of the governing party.
Yeah.
What do we make of what's going on here? If you can do this as a candidate, what do you house for? Can't you just be the great citizen who does this all the time? And do you really believe that they caused this to happen?
You won't go there. Okay. That forces us to have a conversation about the type of culture, political culture that we have, right? The type of culture that we have. And there's a whole suite of problems that the culture poses for our democracy. One, obviously, that we could start with is the total lack of transparency when it comes to who's going to be funding this election and to what degree they're going to be funding it. We don't want to know, it seems. Then there's the fact that you will have probably, no, I won't say probably, I'm pretty certain, no debate between the leader of the Free National Movement and the leader of the Progressive Party or the leader of the COI, if you believe that they should be at the table, and they probably should. That won't happen. So again, that's a feature of our culture which doesn't serve us well.
Right.
I don't believe that secrecy in terms of political funding serves us well at all. I think it's a way for people to hijack and subvert public will, and the public always pays. I have absolutely no reason to believe that the Progressive Party is not taking advantage of the fact that they are sitting government and spending tax dollars to help themselves get reelected. I have no reason to doubt it. They wouldn't be the first.
Right. They've all done this.
Let me just add that.
They've all done that.
Yeah. So public funds get spent. If a person gives you a donation of X millions of dollars in secret, he's going to want to be repaid openly. And he will be repaid with tax dollars for whatever, in return for his support. So the people are going to pay for an election no matter what. So you might as well just have an open process. And that's the kind I would prefer. But in any event, and then you come to all the patronage, all of the bribery, all of the gift giving, all of the services to be rendered, which are a part of our clientelistic system. And in communities where there's more want, there's more of that. Where places have been neglected, this is the season when Santa Claus comes out.
My goodness.
And this has been the way it is our entire lives. The problem with it is, what we really ought to want to know is, what are you going to do in terms of legislation? What are you going to do in terms of policy?
Never comes
up. What
up.
are you going to do in terms of process? What are you going to do in terms of innovation and development? Encouraging growth, encouraging better metrics on any sort of scale of measurement that you want when you look at national life. Those aren't the conversations.
Yeah.
And so we, the public, can get upset and be angry when we feel like they're selling our country out, they're selling us out, but we sell ourselves out. This is the point I just most recently made on social media. You sell yourself out when you decide, for this washing machine, you can get the votes of the people in this house. So you patch this roof, if you pay for this funeral, if you pave this stretch of asphalt, even though I've already paid you VAT and
goodness.
customs duties, and I pay taxes anyway. I pay to drive on this road, every year. But do me this favor and fix this piece of road, please, and you can have my vote. That is what we have. That's what we have. That's what we allow ourselves to be reduced to. That's how I put it.
Yeah.
And you cannot get the results you want that way. You can't get better governance that way. I don't think you can. But maybe the people already know that's a dream too high, too far for them to really place any expectation around. So it's very particular. It's very micro. It's very in the moment. It's very, I had one of the parties came through the neighborhood the other day, and just a couple of days ago, and they were like, how do they put it? What are your issues? Do you have any issues? I was like, that's a curious way to approach it. But, I think we are not evolving in good ways that would lead to better governance, greater accountability, even a sense of responsibility in the citizens for making sure governments walk out the things they promise. It's really like this. Man, it's like a ritual. It's like almost, you grew up Anglican like me, so now you genuflect, now you give the sign across, now you shake the incense. You know what I mean? It's like, we are definitely going about this in a very, very it's discouraging, and it didn't start just now, because I remember. We were seeing people showing us that they was boating the hams down to the quay,
Yep.
Look, I got a whole truck. I got a whole boat, truckload of hams. I'm a good MP.
Wow.
So, okay. All right. That's a really low bar.
That's crazy.
We've set an incredibly low bar.
And I think we know how this goes, right? You see them every 2 days on a post on social media, but once they're elected, you never see them again. So many people say.
Yeah, and I would say to Bahamians, the same platform that they're using to reach you, you can reach them. What are you actually really concerned about? What do you want to make sure that the next government makes its top 2-3 priorities? How would you like to see that manifested in your own community? What are those issues? It can work both ways. So, but yeah, the roads. I understand there's lamp poles involved. Obviously, hams. Turkey must be too expensive this Christmas past. I don't know, but it's we are cheapened. We're cheapening this process. And then, so when we get amateurish outcomes, when we get slapdash policy, when we get hocus pocus legislation, you understand? When we get phantom announcements and celebrations.
Oh my goodness!
In this term, I saw celebration for the creation or the repair of a gate. I don't know if you remember this. The gate to what's supposed to be the National Museum opposite the Tribune was, I guess, repaired.
Okay.
It could now open and close. There was a ceremony.
The press conference?
And there was a ceremony, man.
Well, nice.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, your ability, citizens, to accept what they give you at this base level translates into a lot of the poppycock that they're gonna do in government.
Yeah.
Because you ain't serious. You ain't serious. You know what I'm saying? So that's how a government can tell you, oh no, we ain't introducing no Freedom of Information Act. Ain't nobody into that. And there wasn't 200 people outside his door the next day telling him to go home.
Right.
Actually, he was right. I guess he was right.
He said it's just the elitist people in the country.
Yes, he was right.
Perhaps. Storm is just beginning, folks. Got a lot to talk about with the upcoming general election. The candidates, we're going to get deeper into that when we get back after news headlines. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
I come from the mainland. I'm a Bahamian. I come from the mainland. I could have come from Cat Island. Could have come from San Salvador. But if I could tell you more, I'm born in Nassau.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to a special edition of Morning Blend Business on this Monday, February 23rd, 2026. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. We continue our discussion with Dr. Ian Strachan. We're looking at the candidates for the upcoming general election, what we know so far, and what we're seeing so far in the lead up to whenever the election is called. All right, so again, Dr. Strachan, thank you for being here. Somebody's asking, please allow your guest, Dr. Strachan, to officially introduce himself. Not everyone knows who he is and the many contributions he's made to the Bahamas. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Yes. My name is Ian Strachan. I am a professor at the University of the Bahamas. I've been since 1995. I am a novelist, playwright, poet, filmmaker, and former columnist here at the Nassau Guardian. And I think I've done some radio hosting here as well. There's a few other places, so I've been around public affairs on television and radio for quite a bit.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's me, and I'm very grateful to you for having me.
Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Okay, let's get into it. These candidates. What do you make of this crop of candidates for the upcoming election? Quite a few incumbents, but a lot of new faces as well.
Yeah. One thing that's important for people to perhaps remember is that the PLP's slate in 2021 was full of novices, people who had not had any political, frontline political experience.
Yeah.
Mitchell made a point. He would, apply, go through the process, and they came out with a lot of people who didn't really have a national profile, weren't necessarily front facing, or let's put it this way, didn't have prominent, almost national stature in careers. A lot of them.
Right. Many of them, we never heard them speak before.
Yeah, exactly.
They've never written
Well, it's
anything.
been almost 5 years, and I still haven't heard some of this. but no, yes, and so the same is true for the Free National Movement. But now those same people, of course, you didn't know and had no experience and never really necessarily had a national profile, and you never heard their voice. Well, they became minister, and they became, and so now they are more or less, quite a number of them, household names, right? So I don't join in the well, who are these people talk. Having said that, though, I think it is notable that fewer and fewer people who have built successful careers and have gained national recognition and have come to the top of their field, whatever that might be, are reluctant to enter frontline politics.
Right.
I think that's notable. I know that there's been a lot of passion expressed around Rick Fox's candidacy. I don't really understand. I don't share in it. I don't understand it, actually. Man's a Bahamian. He wants to represent. He wants to serve his country. He has a right to try to do that. I don't understand. He's lived abroad. He's had success. He had to demonstrate great discipline and sacrifice, and become one of the best in a very, very elite sport, which takes a lot of, dedication. He's a success, and he wants to come and serve in the Bahamas. So what? What's the problem? I don't understand it.
Yeah.
And so, in fact, he's one of the more prominent, successful people on either slate, just in terms of what he's able to do with his own life. Right. So, and I would imagine that's the kind of people we would want. But Bahamians are cynical people, and they have good reason to be, given our history. So, but generally speaking, I think that's interesting. That the politics is so nasty, so tribal, that the price you pay is so high, both in terms of what we were talking about earlier, what people expect you to do for them, to be their welfare, to be their their godfather or godmother. But then also too, the price you pay and your family pays when you're no longer in office, and the real victimization that is taking place, which we seem to have no laws to protect people from.
No,
and we don't seem interested in creating any.
Not at all. All right, so this is interesting. So you said it. You've not heard a lot of these people, and this is not new. No. But should we not be concerned that some of these folks have never even written a letter? We don't know their position, as we talked about earlier, on anything. Definitely not written books, unlike what we see in other parts of the world. We don't know any part of them. Yeah, sure, you got this pothole paved, but who are you otherwise?
Right.
How much of an issue should this be?
Well, again, how do you make that happen? What are the mechanisms that would enable that to happen? I would imagine that these individuals should be presenting themselves to to the journalists, to media houses, to scrutiny, to answer questions. What's your view of education?
Right.
What do you think is wrong with our healthcare system, and how do we fix it? How do you feel about taxes, income tax? Are you pro or negative? How do you feel about, I don't know, LNG? There was a time when that was actually a major environmental issue in the country.
Absolutely.
Now it's just it's going to happen, right? Mm-hmm. So you should have the expectation. And of course, they've got to go door to door. And so hopefully, even if you haven't done it before, you get to actually see the rep and have a conversation.
Yeah.
And you don't get the potential representatives,
right.
which is in the same thing.
Right.
Right?
Although they'll try to tell you it is.
Yeah, but it ain't the same thing. Mm-hmm. So the democracy is weaker. The electoral process is weaker when you ask me to cast a vote for someone I haven't had any means to get to know.
Yeah.
It's weaker.
No.
You're just saying, this is our brand. Mark your X next to this brand. You know what this brand stands for. Mm-hmm. Right? and that's if we let them get away with it, and they seem convinced they can get away with it.
No.
And again, what would a Michael Pintard, Philip Brave Davis debate look like? I'd like to know. I have some thoughts, but I'd like to know. We ain't gonna know.
Just close your eyes. that sounds good. That sounds good. Look. Yeah. All right. So you mentioned Rick Fox. So you keep hearing it.
That's me.
Well, it's the truth. It's the truth. You mentioned Rick Fox. We keep hearing it about him. People saying, "What has he done for the Bahamas?" They're not asking the other candidates that, though.
No, they're not.
But let's talk about that.
I was thinking about that too, and what made me think about it is it immediately took me back to Sidney Poitier when I created the Sidney Poitier International Film Festival. Mm-hmm. And we had an international conference, in his honor. And there were people who were like, well, why are you honoring Sidney? What do you do? What do you do for Bahamians?
That's crazy.
So this isn't just unique to, Rick Fox, unfortunately. There is this ambivalence that we have toward Bahamians who leave and experience success in other countries. Now, the funny thing is that we're proud of them when they do it.
Yeah. Well, we're encouraging all of our kids to go.
That's basically, that seems to be the plan. That seems to be the social advancement plan. Go away. Leave this place. Mm-hmm. In here for you. I'll be all right. I can eat tuna and bread, but you go. Right? So and then somehow when they want to, we could have a problem with them being honored. And now we are asking, what have you done for the Bahamas? Well, what he did for the Bahamas was he carried himself, as far as I know, as someone who didn't break any laws and who became the best at what he did as a 3-point sharpshooter and a member of championship teams. Mm-hmm. And he represented us well from I can't think of a reason why he ever gave me a reason to hang. I didn't really like every movie he was in, but right. I could say the same thing about Denzel. I don't like every movie Denzel's in.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm that's just going to happen, but I don't know that it really represents how the majority are going to respond to him.
But again, if you're going to ask one, ask everybody.
True.
Right? And the answers are not going to be pleasant for many.
For most. For most, right? So, as I said, look at what he's been able to accomplish. Only a couple hundred such people, in the world today who are doing what he, was able to do.
Yeah.
How many people can say that?
Right. So here's my question we have celebrity candidates, it seems, this time. If they win and their party loses, how will they function as a celebrity MP? What would those 5 years be like? Will you just come to the house maybe just 5 or 10 of you against the governing party. And is this the life you want? And will you serve the people who put you there properly if you're not a member of the governing party?
Well, I mean, every candidate should be asking that, should be able to answer that question, should already know what the answer to that is, which is I'm going to do my job. I'm going to represent the people as best I can.
That should be the answer.
You can't enter this enterprise and don't countenance that you could lose. Okay? So 50% of you, 75, well, I don't know the math. I'm an English professor. Whatever you add, see, 2/3 of you can lose.
Right.
Okay? So that's interesting. I mean, I think the question, let me rephrase your question. It's going to be interesting to see what defeat does to the PLP or what defeat does to the Free National Movement, as well as what defeat does to the COI. It's going to be interesting because I mean, I don't know what happens in those organizations, but I imagine leadership change is inevitable in either one. If there's defeat, and where do you turn? That's interesting, very interesting. And people might be entering the key to success at getting to the top. It seems is knowing when to enter. All right, and sometimes you enter when your side's going to lose, and that actually ends up being the ladder that you climb.
Yeah. Wow.
All right, let's think about it. I mean, let's think about the career of Hubert Minnis.
Definitely.
Let's think about the career of Chester Cooper. Let's think of, the career of Michael Pintard. So if you're left standing after the devastation,
you could be the ultimate winner.
People are going to be like, who we got here that's credible, got some weight,
Yeah.
And so definitely the introduction of some celebrated personalities on both sides makes you wonder how they might figure in a leadership solution should that side lose. I think that's a legit, an intriguing question to ask.
Wow. All right, so which candidates are jumping out to you so far? Callers, we'll get to you in a bit. Who are you paying? Which races are you paying attention to? It's a lot of coaches, a lot of basketball players, a lot of basketball coaches. That's interesting to me. I don't know what's happening there.
None.
None. You're not excited by anything?
No.
Oh boy.
I mean, I'm hoping that changes. I mean, there are certain. Let's put it this way. There's certain outcomes as a citizen and a voter that I am hoping for, right? I'll be real. There's some people I want to see lose.
Are you prepared to say the names? No.
No, not quite yet. And certainly there are some people on both sides that I hope will remain at play in frontline politics. I say, okay, I can answer that question actually. I think the Fox Hill race is interesting. I think the Freetown race is interesting. It's going to be interesting, obviously, to see what happens in Killarney.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens in terms of the West End race, whether the PLP can retain a foothold in Grand Bahama at all. So Grand Bahama is obviously an interesting scenario. They almost could sleep and win West End. We'll see if that continues. I think I don't know. Those are the ones that stand out. Obviously, I was looking forward to Elizabeth Sands versus Colby, but that's not going to happen.
Right.
So we'll see. I think those are the ones. But generally speaking, the elections are won and lost on these swing seats in New Providence. And what am I talking? I'm talking about Marathon. I'm talking about Garden Hills. I'm talking about Pinewood. I'm talking about Golden Isles. I'm talking about Southern Shores. I'm talking about Carmichael. They all go one way.
Yeah.
They for the last God knows how long.
Yes.
And whoever wins any of them wins the government. And so to me, that's where the war will be won or lost.
Yeah.
right?
Do you think the by-election is any indication, or was it just more convenient for those folks to vote that way at that time?
So when I think about the Free National Movement, this iteration of the Free National Movement, they have made 3 or 4 big mistakes. The first big mistake they made was permitting Hubert Minnis to remain in the House of Assembly. He should have not only stepped down as leader, he should have given up his seat. Because he has done nothing but harm the party, because he cannot accept reality. And he's been an agent of just, of disruption, basically, he and his loyalists. So I think the honorable thing for him to have done was to step down. If he couldn't do the honorable thing, he ought to have been made by the Free National Movement. That's the first mistake. Second mistake the Free National Movement made, and I think these are reasons why they have not impressed as much as they could have, given everything the PLP is doing wrong. The other thing is that they should have asked Adrian Gibson to sit down. He's innocent of proven guilty. He has that right to his day in court, but his presence in the House, given the serious nature of the charges, compromises the ability of the Free National Movement to function optimally as an opposition. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's nothing personal. But that was a mistake. And it was a mistake to run in the by-election.
Or you think they should
I don't
have
think
done
both
it
of them.
at all?
Both of them. I don't think they should have run. There was no way they were going to get OB seat. No way. And who says he had to do it? What difference would it have made? Really? You wasted money, time, and resources. And then you ought not to have done it again in Golden Isles. And I know I've argued with people about it. You're in opposition. But strategy is a thing. So I wouldn't have done it. I didn't think they could win. I thought and I didn't think people would show their real hand, because you're doing it again 6 to 8 months later.
Right.
And whoever won, the PLP still could be in power. So you understand? So I just think they should have focused more on the larger issues and left it alone.
And people were telling us they voted a certain way because, well, we're getting things now. We want that to continue. We want that
Sure,
to
that
continue.
kind of short. Yeah, like you mean they're coming around and they're fixing stuff
Right.
and
Finally, that we've been trying to get fixed for 4 years.
So you see, there's a method to the madness. There's a method to the madness. Neglect you for 4 years, shower you with the infrastructure you've been paying for those 4 years but didn't get, and you'll be grateful and you'll re-elect us.
Well, it's been going on from we were kids, right? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. We're talking with Dr. Ian Strachan. Let's hear from you. Caller, are you there? Hi, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Dr. Strachan.
Good morning.
2 quick points I heard you raise, and which I have some concerns with. One, you talk about, when Dwight spoke to you about the political live debates, you talk about leadership debate. What happens to the other 38? We don't need a leadership. While we understand that the leadership, the policies and the narrative and how his government is to be run and function and which legislation comes where, we need a political live debate from the bottom up or top down, however you want to do it. Because what will happen to the other 38? I mean, common sense and intelligence, whether these people can think critically on their feet, should not just be confined to the leader.
You know what? I totally agree with you. You're absolutely right. I didn't say it, but I couldn't agree with you more. Those debates should happen, but by this time, the Electoral Commission, it should be able to organize these debates at the constituency level for all the people who have, put their hat in the ring.
It's critical,
and that should therefore happen. How many seats can be? 40 or
41?
So it should happen 41 times at least. Yep. And then believe that you should have the leaders of the parties debate.
And one more
I don't understand how you can basically apply for the most powerful job in the nation and you don't have to be put on the spot and answer questions from the other person vying for that job. But debate in the House is actually your job. So you're only now debating on a smaller level for the benefit of the Bahamian people. But
it is their job, Dr. Strachan.
yes, it is. I know. So
it is their job, but the problem is we have a speakers of the House who don't understand the House rules. I mean, the rules of the House is for debates, not speeches. That is why you see so many MPs falling asleep during the House of Assembly, because they give speeches. It's supposed to be constructive debates on the legislation or the bill that you're tabling in the House of Assembly. Nothing else. No speeches. And a second thing, a second point I want to point out to you, when Dwight asked you about making the candidates available, you said making them available to the media. They should be available to the voters, the constituents, not the media. The media should play a role in it.
Yeah, well, maybe you misunderstood. I mean, I assume that if you were going to get the votes of people in your constituency, 3,000 to 5,000 of them, that you're going to go and you're going to see them. You're going to meetings. You're going to have at your headquarters. You're going to have events that you orchestrate. You're going to go door to door. So I wasn't excluding any of that. But one way of reaching many people very efficiently at one time is to use the journalism, the journalist infrastructure, the radios and television stations.
Yeah.
And they should be doing that.
Thanks a lot, caller. This person says here.
But interestingly, am I incorrect? The chairman of the Progressive Liberal Party said that none of them should talk to the press.
Yeah. He said you're not obligated to if they shove a mic in your face, because we're looking for gotcha moments and. Yeah.
So basically, he was saying,
especially the newcomers,
I don't trust you all to open your mouth and sound like an intelligent, competent.
Well, you can interpret it that
public
way.
servant.
Sure.
Shut your mouth.
Well,
know your role.
He's not the only one who's thinking that, but yes.
I'm just.
It is quite interesting. Quite interesting. This text just says here, I think the fourth estate, the media should demand a debate between the leaders of the parties.
Cannot.
Okay,
How?
that's hilarious.
How?
We've been calling for debate a long time.
With what power can
and
they
here we
demand
are still. But yeah, we should and we will and we do. But yet here we are.
Oh, what the media can do is it can announce there'll be a debate. You can have the chairs for the people right there.
Right.
Invite
and
them.
see who comes.
And then see who comes. I guarantee at least one will come.
Yeah. And we can keep the camera on the empty chair.
Yeah. And then, of course, the political parties that didn't show up are going to call the sponsors and apply the pincers, the hot iron rod, whatever it is. Yeah, so that'll get squashed.
Not a bad idea. Caller would say you're on the air. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, big brother Strachan and little brother Strachan.
Good morning. Yeah. Good morning.
Well, you may see us lately. We both big. Go ahead.
I say my age.
Okay,
all right, yeah. But a large percentage of our people don't need no harm and no taking, no road to pave. They guess it's the base. They guess it's diehards. Some of my family, some of my friends, some is called the same station. They are Castle Dwight, Castle Tank, and their dames. You cut me, I bleed yellow. You cut me, I bleed red. I need nothing. They ain't got to do nothing, buddy. I is PLP, period. I is F&M, period. I've been voting for these parties for the last 6 elections.
True.
My granddaddy was this. My grandmother was this.
True.
I need no road pave. I need none of them. Even if the PLP get or the F&M get catching a major corruption scam, they put a spin on that. No, he wasn't taking the money out of the treasury. He's putting the money in the treasury. No, man, he wasn't doing that. When I been down in Exoma, I have some boys down in Exoma, my family and my friends, Choppy and Limit them. They say when they go in the booth, there's one vote out of things, but they always get drawn to the PLP and to put the X by the PLP. They can't vote nothing else from PLP. We still have a large percentage of people like that too. So I feel like more the swing voters who on the fence will really go for harm taking or road paving or something like that. We still have a large base on either side with freaking themselves out. And don't care what they party do, it's right. Nice morning.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
I mean, I think he has a valid point. There is a lot of loyalty. It is a kind of identity, right? And it's like being a Dolphin, being a Patriot.
Right.
For some people, being a Laker. You know,
No matter how lousy they are.
no matter right. You know, but I think the point I think the point he's making, I'd like to tease it out a little bit, and that is when you see strongholds, a political party can count on a constituency, and they've represented that constituency, let's say, 6 of the last 7 times, right? 8 of the last 10 times. Okay? What I think would be good to ask ourselves is, with that level of consistency, what has been delivered to that community? What has been delivered to that community? When you go there and you look at, don't just look at the basketball court, but you know, how can you materially see that the quality of life there is improved by benefit of, well, the prime minister's represented his constituency for 25 years.
Right.
You know, the deputy leader's represented, you know. You see what I'm saying? And so the sad part of what you pointed out is that the political parties often just count on those base, their fortresses, their safe seats, and they do little for them.
Wow.
And they invest their resources on, as you pointed out, persuading the swing voter. So you know, so bastions of PLP are often neglected. Neglected. So those people are in fact voting against their interest. If you would just look at the history of it, have you seen evidence that this vote in this direction leads to, you know, improvement to your community?
Right. Wow.
Right? And so people get taken for granted. If someone is convinced you're going to always be there and you're always going to show up for them, you could get taken for granted.
Yeah.
Right? And I think there's a lot of that in our politics, and they know where the battlegrounds are, and they know what they can count on. And so that's gonna play out again this time.
Yeah. This texter says here, give me these things and I'll vote for you. Healthcare, education, FOIA, freedom of information, local government. Give me those things, I'll vote for you. But if you look back at the blueprint and the manifesto, they all promised these things. And the previous administration did as well. And yet, at the end of the term, we didn't get those things. They're all promising these things, but you're not delivering. What are we to make of that?
We are to make of that the strong take advantage of the weak. The strong are the elected officials and the political machinery, and the weak are the people. Our people do not know. Well, do they not know? They have not inhabited their potential or carried out their function in democracy. So we get lied to. We know we're getting lied to, and we just say, what can I extract from this circus in the short term to make myself feel better about what I'm about to go do, which is cast a vote, right? I hope to attend a couple concerts, because that's what the rallies are. I hope to attend a couple concerts. I hope to get a lot of free rum. It's going to have a carnival atmosphere. I hope to be on a couple motorcades. I hope to get some clothes, right? Maybe I'll get, a better road to drive on. Maybe I might get some actual material, some financial, some redistributed wealth, right? From some behind the gates millionaire to my pocket, or from the treasury to my pocket, and that's it. But citizens don't. Civil society is not. It's not robust. It's not funded, and we are not carrying out our role in a nonpartisan way. There should be no way that you could have one law created over 3 terms and it be meaningless.
Yeah.
Particularly around something as serious as freedom of information. So here's a statement I'm going to make. The PLP behaves like a corrupt organization. Why do I say that? If you can spend, I don't even know what the number is now. I'm pretty sure it's over $250,000, it might be $500 million, and with no bidding process. I ain't sure what the exact number is. You could correct me and someone could call it. You're not open about what you're doing. Well, what other conclusion can I intelligently draw that you don't want me to see?
Right.
I have a right to see. It's my money you're spending. You won't let me see it. You won't let me see it. Now, in their defense, the FLM had an opportunity to roll out FOI. They did. 2, if I'm not mistaken, because it started with Ingram. Okay, I think he's the one who brought it in, who brought it to the House the first time. So there's been 2 FLM administrations, and now 2 PLP administrations. There's actually 4. They on a run. They don't want you to know what. If someone doesn't want you to know what they're doing, right? Yeah, they may have a right to privacy, but not in that role, not in that job. No. You have something to hide. And the very fact that you will not obey the law, dictate publishing when you procure, you're breaking the law. By definition, you're corrupt.
Yeah. Wow.
But the problem is, the ultimate question is, does it make any difference at all to the Bahamian people? That is what the election will be all about. Do the people really care? Does it matter? And the answer could very well be no. It ain't that serious.
Well, that's what Fred Mitchell says.
Yeah, it ain't that serious.
My goodness. I'm talking with Dr. Ian Strachan. Let's hear from you. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hi.
I have been on from before the 9 o'clock hour. Now, first of all, I appreciate your guest in a special way in his literary skills, and his accomplishment.
Thank you.
I love the way he can speak and speak clearly and unfettered. I have a question based on one of his earlier remarks. A matter of fact, 2 of them. I think the mention was made that the third party is right, meaning like left versus right, center right, center left, and so on.
Yes.
So I'd like to get an explanation of how it is determined that they are right, leaning towards the right side.
Okay.
And they also, comment was made that the FNL made 3 mistakes. One of them was to keep Dr. Menace in the House. So I was thinking about that, of how it could be done. Otherwise, whether it meant that a no confident vote or expulsion, from the party, from the FNM party in an earlier stage, so that they wouldn't have that form of distraction and the stubbornness of somebody who is not really a team player and not on the side of the FNM.
Yeah.
And lastly, I would like to know, since those are the 3 mistakes of the FNM, if you can list 3 mistakes of the government party.
All right, we don't have time, but let's see. Thank you very much, caller.
So
the right, I guess.
Yeah, that's the
right
main thing I want to respond to. And I want to make it clear. I have voted for a third party in my life, Coalition for Democratic Reform. I have spoiled my ballot, publicly made a campaign about it, and I have voted for both of these political parties, PLP and FNM. So I've run the gamut. So I respect people's right to say, I don't believe in PLPs, I don't believe in FNMs. We need something new, right? We need something different. We can't keep doing. I understand that. I respect that. I do. You have that right. But my problem is with what you say you stand for. And when I look at the platform and when I look at the way you've conducted yourself, when I look at the things that you are preoccupied with, when I look at the things that you want to apply pressure to and what you get agitated and exercised about, I see a party that is modeling itself on alt-right movement in the United States, that's emulating the Make America Great Again movement, that is mimicking Trumpism.
Yeah.
And
a lot of this movement in Europe as well.
Yes. So this hardline anti-immigrant posture, this purity that they want to invent, called the organic Bahamian. No, I see them as the most conservative and right-leaning organization offering for power. And all we have right now is center to right. Show me a progressive agenda. Okay, we signed on an agreement in the 1970s that we would protect. We cannot see in the past a marital rape amendment, and we have a constitution that just enshrines inequality. So no, we ain't got no progressive. We got no left party. No. We don't. We don't have income tax. We don't have no left party. Now they all have some tendencies. None of them is purely one thing. But no,
there are a few individuals in the parties,
and certainly you have individuals in the party who are more champions for that type of agenda than others, but they may not hold sway as they would like. That's probably always been the case, actually. Yeah. No, this is you have competing conservatisms in the Bahamas, and that's unfortunate, but that's where we are.
And perhaps why it's so easy to hop from one party to another when.
Yes, exactly, because you don't really, But I think that I personally think that the COI, they have a lot of well-meaning people, sincere people who love the Bahamas, who are trying to participate in the democratic process. They have a right to do so, but I cannot support their policies. I can't, and I don't. And I have said this before elsewhere. If you vote for the COI, you are actually supporting the Progressive Party, because they cannot win the government. The COI cannot win the government. And so you're an opposition voter who's not choosing the only possible winner of an election in the Free National Movement.
Yeah.
And so that's a vote. That's you don't want to hear it, but it'll play out just the way it did in the by-election.
All right, we're running out of time. We've got a few more calls. Let's see if we can squeeze these in. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Hi, are you still there? I know you're holding for a little bit. Good morning. You're on the air.
Yeah, good morning to Mr. Ian Strachan. I'm a fan of Mr. Ian Strachan. Dwight kind of cool. Mr. Strachan, I beg to differ. I beg to differ with the COI, right? I mean, I won't call them a hardliner because I don't think they would be like Trump with the immigration crisis, because we have Bahamians here of Haitian descent who deserve citizenship, and I think the COI is intelligent enough to know that. But what I'm afraid is that the immigration crisis has become so overwhelming until that it's almost insane to talk about it.
Like, what makes it overwhelming?
Because
Caller?
I just want to get this in, because what I'm saying is, like, for me, like maybe you should write a book, The Legacy of Politics on Bahamian Society, because when I look at the lack of passing, of implementing laws to control immigration, let's say for the Shantytown Act, the government has been so lackadaisical when it comes to creating, all right, even as far as enforcing the Constitution. If they do that, that's what maybe the CIA is calling for. When you look at the constitutional breaches, we could go through, persons are not supposed to allow residency and citizenship without residing here for 10 years. You could look at all the intricacies of the Constitution and see that it's being breached. What I'm saying is there's a demographic that's squatting for our family islands, and the government is doing nothing about it. They could simply pass the Shantytown Act and make it illegal. There's some things Bahamians need to see. We look at the workforce. Somebody posted a video of a construction site. Bahamians are being told lazy, but we know it's all about finances and exploitation. You are a very intelligent person, and the fact that you have broken the curse of the PLP and FNM by diversifying your vote shows that you're an intelligent person. I have actually voted for a third party because I had to break the curse. Pure empty purse. Give thanks, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so here's what I want to say. Thank you for your call. I encourage you to be a fan of Dwight Strachan. He's an excellent man, and he's doing a fantastic job, service to his country.
Well, thank you so much.
And it's not an easy job, but he does it. He does it well. So what I would say is this. The problem with our immigration and crisis thinking is, in a whole big chunky helping of scapegoating. There's no doubt that Bahamians are under pressure. Whether you talk about climate disasters, when you talk about the rising cost of food and electricity, whether you talk about the unfair system of taxation that we have to deal with, whether you talk about crumbling infrastructure, corruption and waste of our resources, a healthcare system that is buckling, and the returns on tourism diminishing. Actually, the actual returns, not the numbers of arrivals, the returns, right? There's a lot of pressure, but we are focusing in in the wrong place, I would argue. And I've talked about this on social media. There are a whole slew of serious existential problems and threats that Bahamians face that Haitians have absolutely nothing to do with. They are here because people want them to work, right? Our obesity, the guns on our streets, the corruption, the sea level rise. There's a whole slew of things that are happening to us that the cost of electricity, the cost of food. The person's in a rundown shack in the bush ain't affecting these things. They're not the cause for these problems. But we want to do something. We want to see something done. We want to see some problem addressed. And should they be living in those conditions? Absolutely not. Should they be in places that are not regulated? No, I don't support that. Right? But don't get bamboozled. Don't get swung. Don't get distracted. The reason you can't afford to buy a home is not because of Haitian immigrants. The reason you can't get capital to start a business is not because of Haitian immigrants. Okay? The reason you don't know what's in these deals governments sign and contracts is not because of Haitians. It's not. You feel like you're getting hammered. I can use some other words. Yeah, you are. But you look in the wrong direction. You looking down, look up.
Yeah. This texter, this is something you said earlier about the COI. They say, okay, well, so how do we show, other than voting for the COI, that we are opposed to the failed policies of these two legacy parties? What do we do? You mentioned spoil your ballot. You got a lot of flack for that.
Yeah, I did. And I ain't spoiling my ballot this time. I voting for somebody. Again, there's no easy fix. There's no magic bullet. Here's what I would say to Bahamians. You can't fight every battle, right? But what I would say is, pick one thing. One thing that you really, 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 really say to yourself, I don't want to go to my grave and my country's still doing this. Wow. Okay? I don't want to do that. I am determined for that not to happen. All right? And now you have to organize yourself. You have to organize yourself with others who feel the same way. Active. There's no other way. I want to remind people, it's in the United States, they've had some incredible acts of heroism. They've had great acts of stupidity. But when black people in Montgomery, Alabama were tired of riding in the back of the bus, they stopped riding the bus for 365 days, for a year. They walked or they carpooled to stop injustice and disrespect. A year. Imagine. And Martin Luther King is just one man. He could stand in front of the crowd and, encourage them, but everybody had to make that sacrifice. And I think the problem we have is that as Bahamians, we're too soft. We want it to be better, but we don't want to have any role in making it better other than casting a vote. That ain't enough. It's not working. Yeah. It's not gonna work. You're gonna cast your vote probably for the lesser of two evils, and you're gonna hope that they do what they put on the paper and say they will do. But what if they don't? You gotta be willing to get in people's face. Mm-hmm. You gotta be able to sit in the road. You gotta be able to stand in front of the office. You gotta be able to write a petition. You gotta be able to march. You gotta be prepared. If it means there's gotta be one thing that's you really, really don't want to see this country do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you too have to become a leader. And how do I mean by that? I'm not talking about taking photographs. I mean action. Action around your convictions. That's the only way this country is going to get turned around. Because Jesus already come and died and gone to heaven. And when he come back, it's game over anyhow.
Wow.
So, yep.
Dr. Ian Strachan, we are out of time.
Already?
We've got to have you back. I want to talk about next time you come back, the monarchy and becoming a republic. And King Charles, King of the Bahamas. Before we go, really quickly, tell everybody about Gun Boys Rhapsody.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, man.
It's coming back.
Yes. The play is coming back March 11th through the 14th, March 20th to the 24th. We have 6 performances for high schools. And we already have quite a number of high schools that have signed up, but there are 2 evening performances for the general public on Saturday the 14th and Saturday the 21st.
Okay.
And, go to my Facebook page. You can see the information there. Call the Dundas for more information and get your tickets early. We're going to be in the Winston Sanders Theater, so not the black box. So there'll be 300 seats.
Oh, wow.
So we're the first show up. It feels wonderful. I feel very, very special. Blessed, honored to be able to do that and bring that space back. And I commend the government of the Bahamas for the support it gave to the Dundas Civic Center in helping to make that happen. That's definitely progress.
Yeah. One of the good things there. Okay,
Yes.
Wonderful stuff. Dr. Ian Strachan, we'll get to do this again very soon. Thank you. Thank you very much,
so much,
brother.
man. I appreciate it.
And out of time, that's it for today. Pick up today's National Guardian for the Guardian Business section. The latest in business news. This portion of the show brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. Tune in tonight to CFAL Talk, 6:30 p.m. right here on Guardian Radio. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green next.
For retirement can be overwhelming, but with CFAL, it doesn't have to be. We offer tailor-made individual, group, and pension solutions that take the guesswork out of retirement planning. Whether it's for you or your company, don't leave your future to chance and let the trusted hands of CFAL's experts guide you toward peace of mind and financial stability. Low upfront costs and affordable monthly payments make it easy for you to build wealth so you can live well. Visit us at cfal.com, path toward financial freedom. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976. This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Streaming on Guardian Talk Radio.